was call for any help. Let's talk for a minute about Leanne. She's an only child. She's an only daughter. She's extremely close with her mother. She's a devoted daughter. She was Terry's biggest advocate during her life and during her death. A daughter that would love nothing more than to get her mother back. She got on this stand and told you that Craig was not always bad. Things were not always bad between Craig and Terry. They had a long relationship, but things got bad at the end. The fact that Leanne does not think that her mother's murderer should benefit financially from the murder of his wife makes sense. It does not make her a dishonest person or a greedy person. In fact, it seems logical, and Leanne simply wants justice for her mother. She has waited 6 long years. This family has suffered. When the defense tried to cross her on her prior statements, it was, how many times did Craig slam her hand in the door? 5? Oh no, I think you said 3. No, was it 4? Okay. That just means she wasn't practicing her testimony. It's not inconsistent with the facts. She told nurses at the ER when she got to the hospital about the domestic because she was concerned that it may not be an accident and wanted police to look into it. So let's talk about when law enforcement was dispatched to make contact with Craig. What was he doing? He was in the carport, hosing down what appeared to be fire debris, cleaning up. When police told him he was being detained, he goes straight to his SUV, starts up the car, and tries to leave. He failed to respond to commands to get out of the vehicle. Several officers had to pull him out of the car. Craig Lewis, if you haven't noticed, is quite a large man. I believe David Long even said he looked like he had lost some weight. So he's far bigger than any of the officers that took the stand. So it did take several of them to pull him out of the car. It's also kind of an awkward thing to do. Regardless, he was eventually detained. But why was he trying to leave? And why did he not call 911? Why is he cleaning up? Why is there a couch missing from the living room that's burned up and thrown in the woods? Why was he clean as a whistle at the hospital? No soot, no burn debris on him, nothing. Terry's clothes aren't burned. Where are Terry's burned clothes? Probably in a smoking fire pit at the Kansas City residence. Why can Craig not answer any questions at the scene after Deputy Mullen gave him Miranda about what happened and how he tried to put the fire out? What do you mean? Because he didn't try and put the fire out. He didn't try to help her. He didn't call for help. The scene tells us a lot, so pay attention to those pictures. We have a wood-burning stove that Craig claims Terry was lighting and it blew back on her. Now, we don't even have any evidence that these doors were open. These doors, as testified to by the crime scene folks, had what appeared to be some of that fire debris residue on the outside, not on the inside. The doors were closed, okay? You can't light a fire with the doors closed. Also, if you look inside the fireplace and around the fireplace, there's cigarette butts, there are things that are flammable, paper over here, there's a chair over here. Nothing is singed around this fireplace. There is no damage to anything around this fireplace. Those cigarette butts are intact except for the part that was smoked. Those cotton ends are not singed. What is singed is a couch that's halfway across the room in the place that Terry would always sit. She always sat to the left, exactly where the couch is burned. That is then located in the woods off Risher Mountain Road. We also have bloody footprints traipsing about the house that come back to Terry from before Craig made her clean up, change clothes, what have you. He obviously wiped her feet off before taking her to the hospital, but DNA doesn't lie. It's Terry's blood in the House of Horrors. The other expert testimony we heard about was regarding ignitable fluids. Maybe they were used, maybe they weren't. You heard that they could be present, they can be burned off during a fire, they can evaporate. However, everyone knows that a couch can go up in flames like this. You don't need an accelerant to light a couch on fire or light someone on fire on the couch. Light the couch on fire to light someone on fire. People fall asleep with burning cigarettes and burn their house down. But that's not what's alleged here, because the story that Craig tells is far different, and it has nothing to do with the couch. Terry's burns are not indicative of some sort of blowback from a fireplace accident. A burst of flames from a fireplace would not set her entire body on fire. Her entire front body is on fire. What makes sense? Craig's sooty jeans found in the house. They're in evidence. He didn't go to the hospital in these. He wasn't in a big hurry. He was going to clean up. What I found interesting was when the defense was accusing Sergeant Varnado of not calling the fire department when he arrived on scene at 3 in the afternoon. We've got Craig with his wife burning to death, not calling the fire department. That's who should have called the fire department when Terry was engulfed in flames. You all have common sense as jurors, and you get to use that in determining the truth. That is your job here. But for Terry being lit on fire, she would not have been bedridden for months. She would not have suffered for months and months and months before contracting pneumonia, to compromised lungs, compromised because she breathed in fire. The ER doctor, Dr. Fisher, told you about the soot and burns that he saw in her mouth. The pathologist, Dr. Beaver, concluded that her death was the result of complications from thermal burns, injuries that she sustained on January 17th of 2019. I'm not asking you to make large leaps in judgment. I'm not asking you to use your imagination. I'm asking you to use your common sense. The circumstances and facts that surround Terry's death point conclusively to Craig being the perpetrator. Things got bad because he was convinced that Terry was cheating on him. Terry got away from Craig that night, but he made sure she wasn't going to get away from him again. He also made sure that she was not going to be able to refute his story and